tired of it. And we have won many awards for our cuisine, but the drinks are even better.
Yeah, and the book, The Best of Laguna Beach, has named Neil the best bartender, best mixologist in Laguna Beach 2 years in a row. So you guys are in for a treat tonight. Let's, and then also, Neil's going to take us through whatever specialty cocktail you ordered, but then he's also got a special one for us at the end. So let's all give Neil a round of applause, and we're going to turn this thing over to our mixologist.
Welcome, WTS Orange County. Thank you for giving me this time. So what they did, they selected 3 cocktails for us, and you each picked one. So we're going to make these 3 cocktails together. So we have a martini, and a mojito, and an old-fashioned. And I thought tonight we would start with the martini. It's the most basic and simple drink to make. And so if you would, get your martini kits out. But before we do that, I have a favor to ask you. It's going to help you and myself as well. If you're one of the people that picked the old-fashioned or the mojito, if you could open up your kits and take out one of those sugar packets, and what I'm going to ask you to do is put it in a glass, not the glass you're going to make the drink in, but another glass, and put about a tablespoon of water in it and go to your microwave and microwave it for 15 seconds and come right back. And the reason we're going to do that is if you put sugar in a cold drink, it will never dissolve. You could stir it all day and it'll just stay at the bottom of the glass. So if you drink your drink with a straw, you're either going to get a mouthful of sugar on your first sip, or if you sip it off the top, it'll just stay on the bottom and it'll never mix and your drink won't taste right. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask those of you who have the mojito and the old-fashioned, if you could put one of those packets, which contains 2 sugar cubes, in a glass, about a tablespoon of water, go to your microwave and microwave it, and come right back. All right, so we'll give them a moment to do that, and before we get going with our cocktails. Cocktail's an interesting word. You ever wonder where that came from? I think about things like that, but is it like a rooster tail? Well, it's not. Let me tell you, a cocktail, the word goes back to the early 1700s, when horse racing was becoming very popular amongst the aristocrats. Well, as time went on, the people in the outskirts of town wanted to get involved and include their horses in the races, but they were forbidden, as these aristocratic horse racers said they didn't want their mixed breed horses running with the thoroughbreds that they had bred for horse races. Well, after much debate and discussion, finally an agreement was made, and they came up with the idea that you can have your horse races, but a stipulation is you have to cock the tail of the horse up and tie it off so that people could distinguish that these were not thoroughbreds. So they agreed upon that, and cocktail horse racing became popular. Well, some of the local tavern owners picked up on that name as they were trying to make some of their moonshine and bourbons taste a little better. And so they're adding different ingredients into it. And that name cocktail got picked up on by some of the tavern owners, and it became so popular that now today when you see the word cocktail, you don't think of a horse race, you think of a mixed drink. So anyway, that's where the word cocktail came from, if you ever wondered. So all right, so you guys are probably coming back with your sugar mixture. And by the way, what you have made is a very important ingredient in any bar, and it's known as simple syrup. And we use that to take the bitterness away from maybe a bitter drink, if you use bitters, or if it's something sour, it'll sweeten it up a little bit. But it is a very important ingredient in any bar. So you've made your first important bar ingredient, and it's known as simple syrup. So we'll set that aside, and we'll get back to those later. But for now, we're going to do the martini. So if you would, you're going to need 2 glasses for this. If you have a martini glass, even better. If not, you can just take a different glass. But we're going to need 2 glasses because we're going to put the drink in one and strain it into the other. So if you open up your martini kit, you're going to find a little swizzle stick and your olive kit with the olive juice in there and a little bottle of vermouth. This is vermouth. There's 2 kinds of vermouth, sweet and dry. For martinis, we use dry vermouth. All right, and this has evolved over the years. And by the way, for the martini, we're going to use Tito's vodka, fantastic American-made vodka. This is from Texas, Tito's vodka, very popular. And the vermouth, this has evolved over the years. When I first started making martinis, we'd put about a 1/4 ounce of vermouth into the, whether it be gin or vodka. And as time went on, people wanted their martini drier and drier, which meant not more dry vermouth, but less dry vermouth. So we'd put a little less, and then they wanted it drier, and a little less, and they wanted it drier. So finally, we got to the point where we would just put the vermouth in a glass and swirl it around and toss it out, and the residue that stayed in the glass was adequate for a dry martini. Until, I don't know if any of you remember this, but they used to use little mister bottles, and we'd take a little spray bottle of vermouth in it and put a little squirt, and it would rest on the glass, and that was adequate. Until nowadays, most bartenders don't even know where their dry vermouth is. But personally, I like to use a little vermouth. For one thing, it adds a nice quality to the drink, and another thing, it makes it a cocktail. Otherwise, it's just a glass of cold vodka or whiskey, or vodka, gin, that is. So anyway, so if we can get our 2 glasses out, the first thing you're going to want to do is fill 1 glass with ice. Next, we're going to put in our Tito's vodka. This is a 2-ounce bottle of vodka. We're going to pour that in. All right. And then the vermouth. Just a couple dashes of this, and I think it adds a wonderful quality to your drink. Just going to put in a few dashes like so. And we're going to stir that until it's cold. Give that a little mix. And we're going to strain it off. If you don't have a cocktail strainer, you should buy one of these. You can get them anywhere. You can get them at the grocery store. You can get them at Bevmo or Wine Warehouse. But this should be part of your home bar kit. If you don't have one of these right now, you can use a spoon, and you can just take your spoon and strain off the ice. But I like to use a strainer so much better, and it's an important part of your martini kit at home. But before I do this, many people like a dirty martini. And so we're going to add the juice of the olives in there. And this actually isn't olive juice, but that's what we call it. It's really a salty brine that the olives are packed in. But this adds kind of a nice quality to your martini. And dirty martinis are very popular now. So if you want something like that, and put my olives in the martini glass, you're going to add a little bit of the olive juice and give that a little mix. And we're going to strain it into our glass. All right. Now, if you guys don't have a shaker, this is an important ingredient too. You should buy one of these. If you don't have one of these, you can do like a protein shaker, but the next time you're in Bevmo, get one of these. It's a great part of your home bar kit. And if you like your martini shaken, which is more popular now, honestly, I shake 99% of the martinis. In the old days, they kind of wanted them stirred, not shaken, as to not damage the gin or vodka, but shaking is the way to go now. So get yourself a martini shaker and shake it up good. And what this does, it breaks the ice cubes up, little chips come off, and it kind of softens up the vodka. This particular shaker has a little top that you can pour through, but I'm going to use my strainer because it works so much better. And then we'll strain that into our martini glass. All right. And my friends, you have now made a martini. Cheers to you.
Are you going to drink them all?
Oh, that's good. All right, that'll take the edge off a hard day.
I have to ask you really quickly.
Yeah.
Are people enjoying their drinks if they made that? Are they good? Did you guys make it? Oh, come on.
Very good.
Remember, meet yourself.
Excellent. You love a dirty martini.
All right, who doesn't? Okay, the next one we're going to do is the old fashions. For those of you who got the old fashioned kit, we'll get those out. And you've already made your simple syrup, so one of those cubes are missing. It comes with a little measuring spoon, and this is for your bitters. Bitters is a very bitter concoction that's made up of bitter roots, or sometimes it's made with the inside of a citrus peel. I don't know if you ever ate the white part of an orange peel. It's really bitter, and they use that to make bitters. This one is Angostura Bitters, and it's made from bitter roots. And this is probably the best one, and if you don't have this in your house, you should go out and buy a bottle of Angostura Bitters. You'll get this in the liquor section because it does have alcohol in it. As a matter of fact, it's 90 proof, so you can put this on the shelf and it'll last forever. But this should be part of your bar kit as well as your shaker and your strainer. So, first thing we're going to do is fill our glass with ice. If you want to measure your bitters, you can. I'm just going to pour a little in. Personally, I don't think you can have too much bitters. I love this stuff. So I'm gonna pour a few dashes in there. And then we're gonna add our simple syrup that we made, and you can just pour all of that in there. I've made it in advance, and I've got a little bottle here, so I'm gonna put a little squirt of simple syrup in there. And we're gonna add our award-winning Tennessee whiskey, not to be confused with bourbon, because this is from Tennessee. And these are 2-ounce bottles, so we're gonna put 2 ounces of Tennessee whiskey in our old fashioned. If you have an orange or a cherry, you can garnish it with that. If not, it's not necessary. We'll give that a little stir. And now you have made an old fashioned. That's good. Okay, now these little kits are going to be hard to find in a store. And so I'm going to show you another version of this drink. This drink has mutated considerably over the years. I mean, my wife loves these, and when she goes on orders and she has me taste it, and I swear sometimes it's just a glass of whiskey with an ice cube in it. So it has changed considerably. So I'm going to show you another version of the old fashioned, if you will bear with me. And it's much easier just to buy the ingredients in the store than trying to find those little kits. So what you're going to want is a slice of an orange. All right, you're going to put that in the glass. In a maraschino cherry. If you have a hard time finding these, they're in the liquor section, or you can find them over by the ice cream section. They use them for making sundaes. And we're going to muddle that together. Once again, if you don't have a muddle like this, you should buy one of these, a great part of your kit. If you don't have one, you can use a spoon and you can just press it up against the side, but you should have a muddle. So go get yourself one of these. They make a lot of different kinds of muddles. Some of them are just a wooden stick, but they're really cheap. So what we're going to do is press that together. We're going to muddle the flavors out of the orange and the cherry. Okay. And now we're going to add our bitters. Our Tennessee whiskey. And the simple syrup. A little dash of that. And add our ice cubes. And top it off with soda. So this is a little different than the other one you got, but these are easy ingredients to find at the store, a lot easier than going and trying to find one of those little kits. And the soda just gives it a nice bubbly quality, takes the edge off the alcohol. Give that a little mix. You don't need to garnish this because the garnish is in there. And that, my friends, is an old-fashioned. Cheers. Oh, that's good. We'll keep that for later. All right. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is the Mojito. Wonderful, refreshing drink. And if you would, get your Mojito kits out. And what you're going to find in here is a little lime packet. Now, once again, these kits were great for us because we could all do this together and they could mail them to you, but there's probably a better way to do this, and I'm going to show you a version of that when we're done. But for now, these little kits come in handy because we can do this together. So this is equivalent to like a lime wedge. And then we have the simple syrup you made, our measuring spoon, and a little mint elixir. This drink you might think is relatively new. It got popular around the early 2000s. However, this drink actually came from the early 1500s. And it all started when Sir Francis Drake embarked upon what would become a failed pirate mission. Well, he ended up on the shores of Havana, Cuba with a ship full of very sick sailors, and they were suffering terribly with dysentery and cholera. Well, the local natives around there let them know that they had a cure for their dysentery and scurvy, actually, is what they were suffering with. So the local natives put together a concoction, and that concoction was made up of fresh mint, lime juice, and sugar cane. So they gave that to the crew, and they proceeded to make them better. So as they recovered, it didn't take long for one of them to get the idea to add a little rum to that concoction, make you feel better even faster. So that's where the Mojito came from. It actually was very instrumental in healing people. It became a popular drink back in the 1500s. And it made a resurgence big time in the early 2000s. So now if you go to a bar and ask for Mojito, they know exactly what you're saying. So let's get started with Mojito. First thing we're going to do is get a cocktail glass and fill it with ice. We're going to add about 2 ounces of Bacardi rum. And then we're going to pull out our mint elixir. They couldn't send you fresh mint in the mail, so that we're using a mint elixir, and that's that little green bottle. They have a little measuring spoon if you want to use that. I'm just going to eyeball this. Pour about half of it into your drink. You're going to pour about half of that into your drink. We add our simple syrup that you made. And our lime packet. Go. Give that a little stir. Top it off with soda. And if you have a garnish, you can garnish this with a lime. If not, it doesn't matter. Tastes just as good. And there you have it, my friends. A refreshing mojito. Cheers. Ah, these are getting better and better as I go. Okay, so guys, like I said before, these little kits are wonderful for the purpose that we're using right now, but they're probably going to be hard to find in the store, so I'm going to show you another version of the Mojito. Because these will be easier just to go buy the fresh mint, the rum, and the limes at home. So, what you're going to do is muddle fresh mint, which I have right here. I'm going to take some fresh mint, put it in our mixing glass, and with our muddler, we're going to muddle that up, press that down to get the oils out. Okay. And now we're going to fill our mixing glass with ice. Two ounces of Bacardi rum. Right. Little simple syrup. And an important ingredient in any bar, sweet and sour. And you can buy this anywhere. Any drugstore, any grocery store, any liquor store will have sweet and sour. And this is a crucial ingredient to have in your refrigerator, as it cuts the flavor in so many drinks as far as the alcohol goes. So we're going to add just about 1.5 ounces of that. Okay. And now we're going to shake this up. Give this a good shake, mix those flavors together. All right. And now we're going to add the soda. You want to make sure you don't add the soda before you shake it for obvious reasons. You shake all the bubbles out. It'll probably explode in your hand. All right. We'll pour that into our glass. Garnish it with a lime if you have one. Get yourself a straw and a comfortable seat poolside and enjoy. Cheers, everybody.
That looks delicious.
It is delicious. Ah, yeah. All right. Well, those are our 3 drinks they have to make for us, or they had us make together. I have a bonus drink for you. Like a magician.
Really fast.
Yes.
And we're doing good on time, so I was just curious if anybody had questions about any
Yeah,
of
sure.
those 3 drinks before you give us your specialty one.
Sure.
Anybody? And if not,
Question.
Sure.
Sorry, it's Sarah.
How to get a fake ID?
Thank you very much for
That was
noticing
good.
how young I am. What's the difference between Tennessee whiskey and Kentucky bourbon?
It's just locality. Like Irish whiskey is from Ireland, Scotch whiskey is from Scotland. Bourbon whiskey is from Bourbon County, Kentucky. So it has to come from Bourbon County.
So like bourbon has to come from Kentucky, like champagne has to come from France.
Exactly, that's a great analogy, yeah. Just like when you say Scotch, you're referring to whiskey that's made in Scotland. And when you say bourbon, you're referring to whiskey that's made in Bourbon, Kentucky.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent.
it doesn't matter, but that's just, yeah, we use that term pretty loosely for bourbon as any American whiskey, but really, there is a distinguishing factor. It has to come from Bourbon, Kentucky.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions I could help you with?
Oh wait, it looks like Ann Johnson, you raised your hand. And by the way, everyone, feel free to unmute yourselves. We're really encouraging you to speak up. So Ann, if you have your question?
Yeah, so for your rum, can it be a light rum or a dark rum, or does it matter?
Yeah, it does matter. You want to use a light rum for the Mojito, and there's many purposes for dark rum, but that's not one of them. The Mojito's designed as a light, refreshing drink, and that's kind of why I made the analogy of enjoying it by the poolside.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Mine is about the cherries in the old fashioned.
Yes.
So sometimes I see him use the cherry that you used, and sometimes I see him use like a smaller one that's really
Black.
dark.
Yes. Yes. And those are becoming very popular. They're very expensive. You can buy those at Whole Foods or some of the specialty shops. And a little bottle like this is $20. And they're wonderful. That's what we use at Starfish. Matter of fact, about 9 years ago, I bought those because we had a special function going on. And I bought a can, and it was $90. And they were very popular, so much so that we just decided to keep them and do away with the maraschino cherries and buy the little black ones that you see. But yeah, you're going to see more and more of that because they're just better. They're better cherries. The great thing about these maraschino cherries, however, they last forever. This thing will probably last 100 years.
Any other questions? Okay, Neil, take it away.
Okay, well, I had a little bonus drink to make for you. You don't have these ingredients, but I'm going to show you them. And this is a great dessert drink. A lot of times, and this is the time of year you're going to have more and more guests over, lots of house parties. But after a big meal, you want something sweet on your palate, but you don't want to eat anything else. Perfect solution is a dessert martini. And honestly, I usually don't give out my secrets, but I'm going to share this with you today. And it's very simple. 3 ingredients, you're going to love this. I make some drinks for summer, sometimes for Christmas, make Halloween drinks. This one is called the Harvest Martini, and it's perfect for this time of year. So what it is, 3 ingredients, like I said, we're going to use a sour apple pucker. A lot of people make this. The Kuipers is this one, but the Bowles makes it. There's a lot of different makers. What you're looking for, though, is sour apple pucker. Okay, the other ingredient is cinnamon liqueur. This is Goldschlager. It's funny, when I say Goldschlager, I don't know what people are thinking, but I think they're thinking Jägermeister or something, but they always make a face when I say Goldschlager. But Goldschlager is a delicious cinnamon liqueur, and this is the perfect one to use for this particular drink. Some cinnamon liqueurs you're going to find they're a little hot, and they just don't work. They kind of taste like a hot tamale, if you remember those candies. So they're cinnamony, but they have a heat on them, and that's not going to work for our drink. And then the third ingredient is cranberry juice. Very simple. So those 3 things. And so what we're going to do, we're going to shake her out, fill it with ice, and I'm going to prepare the garnish for our drink. And what that is an apple slice. Apple slice, and I slice the apple from side to side, and then I make a little slit in it so it goes on the side of the glass. You guys can see that? And what I'm going to do is dust this in a little cinnamon mixture, and this is a little mixture of cinnamon and sugar. And I'm just going to put the apple slice in there and dust it a little bit to coat it. And we're going to put that apple slice on the side of the glass. All right. And now we're going to put 2 ounces of each of those 3 ingredients in there. So our apple liqueur, 2 ounces. After a while, you get to know exactly what 2 ounces is. 2 ounces, and 2 ounces of cranberry juice. Right. Oh, this is a good drink. You're going to love this. And like I said, it's real simple, easy to remember, easy things to get in the store. Give that a good shake. You want to shake this hard. The good thing about a shaker is they kind of incorporate air bubbles into the drink and it makes it a little lighter on the palate. You want to shake it up good. It also breaks the little corners of the ice cubes off. And it gives like a little frothy top on your drink. Just appealing to the palate as well. Okay. We're going to strain that into our drink.
That looks so good.
It is so good.
Yeah. I thought I might just want to eat the apple, but
Oh,
honestly, the
it's
rest-
delicious, by the way. This is so good. And that, my friends, is the Harvest Martini. Cheers to you.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
Mm.
for what benefit,
It tastes like Thanksgiving.
the instructions for that are also on that ingredients list that was sent out. So in case you're looking for that in the future.
Did you print my list, my secret list? Oh my goodness. All right, guys. We'll share that. And if you want some really exotic drinks, treat yourself. If you're in the neighborhood of Laguna Beach, come on into Starfish. I made an amazing list of cocktails that you won't find anywhere else. It's kind of important that I'm there so they're made right. But come on in and ask for Neil. Or if you're looking for someone to do a party at your house or a cocktail demonstration, you can contact the Fish Tank or Julie Beeman, and she will get that number to you. And I'd be happy to help you with any of your future parties. Cheers, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Neil.
Here. All right, give a big round of applause. Thank you so much. And we want to also say that we are at the Fish Tank in Dana Point, Capistrano Beach. And so the image you see behind us is actually on the wall. It's an image on the wall. It's a warehouse, and they put parties together here. And they can play football games around all the walls in this warehouse. If you want to get married in the south of France, they can have the south of France up here. All kinds of very cool things. And so I think you have information on the Fish Tank as well, but a really unique venue. So with that, thank you so much. I know that Lori and Brian would like some of those cocktails you made.
Yes.
So
Yes,
take
we
those
would.
with you. I'm going to try this one. I'm just going to try this one. Oh my goodness, that is good. And I don't even like cinnamon. Or what's the other thing in there?
Apple.
Cinnamon apple, yeah.
Cranberry.
That's good. Okay, all right. Margaret, I think we're on to the next raffle, right? If I'm doing this right?
So,
Okay.
and really quickly, I had spotlighted the screen so everyone could see Julie and Neil